Nobody knows anything. Nobody has the least idea what's going to work. And screenwriters are the basis, I think, of everything. Because if you have a shitty script, even if you had Bergman or Fellini or David Lean, it's not going to work as a movie. It's all fucking story. That's really all it is. If the story works, if the audience, if you're moved by whatever the goddamn story is, you have a chance to have a movie that works.
When I look back on that period, it was bad, in every way. The fear that people had, the people who lost their jobs, lost their careers. But at the same time, there was a kind of goodness and camaraderie among the people who were blacklisted. We helped each other, when we could, and if there was a job open somewhere, using our names, we would give it to some blacklisted writer who needed it. And there was a kind of generosity of spirit.
We went to the Edison Hotel. He ordered some food, and then I sat down at a typewriter, and he made me keep on ad-libbing one-liners from the newspapers, and finally he would say, after 5 or 6 tries, "That's good, put it down." I did go to the theater, very nervous, expecting to hear some of what I had made up. Then he launched into the new monologue. And once in a while, he would get to one of my lines. And I was in heaven. I was walking on a cloud. They laughed at my stuff. That meant I was going to be a writer of comedy.
Gene Roddenberry turned to me and said, "Okay, I'm going to give you a rewrite. If you can rewrite this script to my satisfaction and to NBC's satisfaction, you can be my story editor because, as always, you've been there from the beginning and you know the show." It was the one that was called Tomorrow is Yesterday that starred Jill Ireland and a love story for Mr. Spock. And nobody considered that at all. And I did. And that was the big rewrite in that particular script that sold everybody that I could be the story editor on Star Trek, and I started the next week. There weren't too many of us, so I joined a very elite group of women at that time.
My father came from the ghetto, from Hester and Division Streets on the Lower East Side, and had this grand life with, Fitzgerald says there's no second act with my father. In my father's case, there was no third act. It was just a desperate finish. With all these losers that I've embraced in my work, which is McMurphy and Cuckoo's Nest and The Rose and Melvin, the Colonel and Son of a Woman, they're all parts of the same thing. They're all parts of the same thing as, people who have a kind of courage and a kind of aristocracy of the heart.
We had a newspaper in Elmira called the Elmira Star-Gazette, and they ran a series called My Most Embarrassing Moment, and they invited letters from people, and they gave them $1 for every letter they used. So I invented, I think I must have been about 13 or something, I invented an embarrassing moment, and I wrote it up, and I sent it in, and the next week I saw my letter there, and I got $1. And I thought, you can make money from writing, which I hadn't realized. So then I persuaded some of my friends to let me use their names and addresses, and the next time I wrote 3 letters, and I had the whole column. I got $3. And I guess that was the impetus. It said, gee, this could be fun, and you can make money from it.
We need to let the audience know in those first few seconds of the movie how we are going to spend the next 2 hours of our lives together. What is it going to be like? Am I going to scare the bejesus out of them and then make them whole, or am I just going to make them numb by beating them over the head with endless bloodshed? Am I going to entertain them with snappy dialogue? And you have to get something on the paper that represents that scene, that tells the audience what it's going to be like. And I need to surprise them, and surprise them with a truth that they already knew in their hearts, but they didn't know they knew it.